the Parliament of Uganda and perhaps as well to the Minister of Education and Sports. That was on 25th of October 2023. This was summarizing the hindering impacts of Western sanctions on our learning, which was configured through suspension of grants and loans to our nation over the enactment of the anti-homosexuality law. We are bringing this as a public consideration probably this period because there has been a long await by the students community. The Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Jendi Kataho, who was to serve as a driving captain to achieve this move, has taken less attention in giving us representation before the Legislative Assembly upon our report, despite the private confidential response that we gave out to the Ministry of Education and Sports. And as well, after the 4 months of long await, still with no expected response from the Parliament, the adverse of the aftermath effects of the sanctions continue to multiply to our community as they are increasingly affecting our wider community, over which leaving our matter unheard to the nation will be self-betrayal. Some of the following highlights probably summarize the areas of concern that we emphasize upon and which require effective consideration. The outphasing scholarships, scholarship organizations, bursary awarding bodies and the loan scheme organizations, which probably are coming to an end. These include the State House Scholarship, the HESFEBs, the loan schemes, MasterCards, BRACs, and of which since 2017 these scholarship communities have gone on phasing out despite the inadequacy in representation upon students' matters within the Parliament by the concerned government body. During the COVID era, scholarship bodies witnessed maximum decrease or decline in support from their external sources to the targeted students' communities, which temporarily, of course, caused their withdrawal to continue supporting the students going Ugandans. Despite this stagger, there had been a measurable level of resumption in 2022 and probably 2023 as bursary awarding bodies and scholarship providing communities reawakened to empower the challenged learners with equitable education. After the enactment of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, when the World Bank and the AGOA or the African Growth Opportunity Act and other Western bodies halted Uganda from being a benefit to this long depended on grants and loans, most scholarships providing organizations and other students' liabilities are probably phasing out, which of course must take serious and large attention is to ensure that we cap up those people who are rather affected. Declining support to these non-government organizations. Most NGOs, both international and local, greatly rely on foreign aid through mutual alliance, over which they too serve as benefactor to students' communities. These NGOs in many different ways act as liabilities to our students or our student sectors, as outlined in our report. And the sanctioning of access to grants and loans is probably affecting and so much affecting our sector, highly as explained in the report. Declining grants in aid to our vast institutional projects, especially of science and technology and the vast research and innovation within the institutions and universities. It is well known that our universities and institutions operate on the principal initiatives of research, innovation, and science and technology, which highly rely on external aid, and currently our projects are not rightly supported as before. The government alone rarely provides the required aid to build our science, and which too contributes to our low performances in the current or in the present day university world rankings. These extra revenues and high government tax charges on fees payments, unlike the other years, the rise in tax charges countrywide for this year has bred and has been so high. In fact, it has bred too much, but the inadequacy of sources of revenue. These government taxes probably they are preparing the current frightening rise of fees payments in our colleges and institutions, which are continuing to leave parents to depend on loans from banks and circles, etc. Over which such instabilities in homes are the breeding causes of dropouts and the current continued immigration of our fellow younger people to the Middle East for minor opportunities such as askaris, housemaids, gatekeepers, internal body organ donors, etc., which is disregarding and deframing our current dignity as black people as well as Ugandans. So therefore we consider enriching the diversity of this matter as self-responsibility to have an address to the government, not only but also take it as a public concern for the purpose of seeking consideration and effective response from government to allow reforms and changes in our affairs. And probably in summary, the Minister of Education has delayed to represent our report also before the Legislative Assembly and the Parliamentary Assembly. Itself, it has to take to be much, in fact the Parliamentary Assembly has been so much reluctant upon our report, which outlines the concerns that continue to affect the students' community and the period of which has scrutinized for a year. It is in that sense not acceptable, or we shall not just keep quiet and listen to such